and my friend Claire. So thank you guys.
Hey, good evening, everybody. I'm Claire Bouchard, like you've heard, and I just wanted to say thank you so much to Larimer County for hosting these events. I don't know about you, but my knowledge of water is really around, like, I like to drink it, I like to water my flowers, I like to play in it. So I've had the honor over the last year and a half to learn a lot about water through the Water Literate Leaders class. I'm a grad and highly recommend it, but I feel like this class is so rich and full of content. You almost can skip that if you're busy or, the application process is too much, but thank you so much for bringing water to everyday people. It's normalizing conversations. It's building a vocabulary that we can all use, and that's kind of at the heart of what we're here to talk to you about today. So real quick, how many of you, show of hands, know about the Community Foundation of Northern Colorado? Okay, good. Many of you, yay. Well, we are basically a philanthropic bank. We're a 501c3. Our vision is, let me see here, I got to advance this, don't I? Our vision is to create impact and leave a legacy, and we do that through our mission, which is creating transformational community impact by inspiring philanthropy and engaging the region. We're a facilitator of philanthropy. I said that in the mission, but basically we try to match donors with their philanthropic passions and intent and find nonprofit work and connect them together so we can do more, longer, farther, faster with endowments and impactful legacy work. We're also, another bucket of our work is convening, and that's one of the reasons we're here today, and Cecil can talk more about that too, but we convene groups around water, around business development, economic stability, jobs, growth, and education. But we're really a community partner, and that's why a lot of you know about us, so great.
We are governed by a board, and it's a very diverse and very dedicated board of directors. They are community leaders in the region, from business leaders to those involved in agriculture, philanthropists to nonprofit professionals, and we run the gamut of all of the different organizations within Northern Colorado. And with that, the board brings a very diverse set of perspectives. And this has provided the Community Foundation the ability to reach into various segments of our communities. And it has given us the opportunity to be nonpartisan conveners and regional leaders in that convening. We strongly believe that if we bring the right people to the room and we bring them together for nonpartisan conversations, we can develop collaborative and creative plans for addressing complex issues.
There you go.
And here are some examples of some of the community projects that we were honored to be a part of. As the mayor of Loveland, I was excited to be a partner with the Community Foundation for the Destination Downtown Loveland project, revitalization of downtown Loveland. Two of the main projects that the Community Foundation was involved in that Destination Downtown Loveland were the Rialto Bridge Project and the Art Space Project. This project and the involvement of the Community Foundation has had a significant impact on the revitalization of downtown Loveland. We were involved in a fund for when the fires in 2020 devastated parts of our region, the Cameron Peak Fire and these troublesome fires. In 2013, the Community Foundation of Northern Colorado partnered with the Weld County Community Foundation to convene the Regional Leaders Initiative. And as a result of those meetings of government officials has come the Water Literate Leaders course, a water strat-op process that has culminated in the Northern Colorado Water Alliance.
Yeah, so I love the topic of tonight's forum around, what's the future of Larimer County water, and I'm again thankful to the Water Center and the county to include us because this is showing you hopefully today that you don't have to be a water expert to be involved with water issues in Northern Colorado. We welcome all voices, all experience, all backgrounds. So that's kind of one of the reasons we're here tonight to talk about that diversity. Tagging on to what Cecil was saying. So about 10 years ago, our past president, Ray Caraway, was talking to Ray Otto in the city of Greeley and the town of Windsor, city of Loveland, and city of Fort Collins leaders about how do we talk about our region as we grow, as we change? What are some of those issues that we're tackling that we can do together rather than separate in our own communities? We can learn from each other. So about 10 years ago, they started coming together quarterly for breakfast, the mayors, the mayor pro tems, and the city managers or town managers. Sample discussion topics are transportation, economic development, water and regionalism, mental health, community engagement, and legislative updates and topics. And so just a few years after that, 2019, one of their lead conversations were around water and the shared vision to secure northern Colorado. This was soon after some of the water rights of our area got bought by Thornton. Soon around that time, the city of Aurora purchased water rights from our area. And they're really trying to focus on keeping water in the river, preserving some level of irrigated farming because agriculture is such a huge legacy for our area and it's important for our region and the country, frankly. They wanted to maintain a desirable level of utility service, cost, and quality. And then they asked their water utility staff and several water providers to meet and come together and talk about it.
So between 2020 and 2022, a water provider planning process was undertaken. It was facilitated by the Patterson Group. The original partners were City of Evans, Fort Collins, Greeley, and Loveland, the towns of Windsor and Milliken, and the North Weld County Water District and Fort Collins Loveland Water District. The mission established by the group was to build sustainable water systems for the future of northern Colorado. There were 4 action initiatives as a result of this planning process. One was to develop a unified communication strategy around northern Colorado water interests. 2, work on strategies for watershed protection, watershed management, and restoration and recovery after natural disasters. 3, develop a framework to identify gaps and opportunities. And 4, come up with a plan to address the growing demand for water supply in the region. But in my opinion, the most important result was the relationship building that resulted. It took some time, but as those relationships were built, and we have had opportunities during our meetings for each water provider to share what is going on in their particular area, it became obvious that relationships were being built and they started to help one another, and projects between different water provider organizations started occurring. One within the city of Loveland and the town of Windsor that just was in the news, a 10-year lease of raw water was made from the city of Loveland to the town of Windsor as an emergency raw water supply. Those are the kinds of cooperative efforts that have become a result of this collaborative effort and some of these meetings of the Water Alliance.
Yeah, so late last year, this group of water providers, we were sitting together and I had been in meetings where after 2.5 hours of meetings, someone would say, "Tell me again why we're here. What are we doing?" And we're like, "Oh my gosh, we just spent 2.5 hours talking." But it's really evolved, and now they have the people involved have asked us to plan some Thursday afternoon meetings where they can go get a beer after, and they linger. We have to kick them out of the rooms because other groups have to come in. So it's really flourishing. They also, over this time period, just earlier this year, came up with a mission for their group, and I'm sorry I have to read it. It's collaborating and educating for the protection of water resources and systems to ensure a resilient future for the northern Colorado Front Range. They have created water messages together. These messages are used for themselves professionally to share back to their elected officials, their boards, their constituents and customers. I won't read them right now, but I think, Michelle, these will be available afterwards, right, to go into deeper. But I wanted to talk about how the work group has expanded. Just as Cecil had mentioned, we had 16 original partners at the table. And over the last few months, earlier this year, we talked about who else should be at the table. What other providers are we not having here? This just went blank. Sorry. I'll just do that. How's that? Oh. Okay. Well, this was basically our last slide, but I do want to mention that our work group has expanded thanks to Lori for coming. So Larimer County is now coming. Oh, thanks, Karen.
Just need to change the display. Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Did it go?
So Michelle, are you an ads fan?
Yeah, just a little. In addition to Larimer County coming to the table and working, we have Northern Water. I see Jeff back there. Thanks for coming with Brad. And we've got Pat Wells coming tomorrow morning to our meeting. Platte River Power Authority comes to our meetings. The towns of Berthoud, Wellington, Windsor, of course, Johnstown, Eaton, Weld County is starting to come, which is really exciting. And our Little Thompson the Little Thompson Water District. So this isn't the end list. I'm sure there will be more. We're really excited to have some of our smaller regional communities coming because they're experiencing some really substantial population growth and housing development growth. And of course, where are those housing developments going? On land that was probably farmed before, and there's water rights associated with that. And so there's this whole intersection of growing population, water being used in a different way, and how do our water providers and our political system and political friends make the best out of all of that. I also want to give a shout out to Cecil. He comes to every single meeting. He's a key community partner, and he brings decades of relationship building and accountability to the group. And that has really added a level of authority and accountability, like I said, that we couldn't do without Cecil. And then also our hired facilitators. We work with CDR Associates. They are our current facilitators who work on the infrastructure and water space across the Front Range, and they bring a real high level of professionalism that keeps the conversation going. They ask the hard questions. And then the foundation, we just serve as like that backbone organization, set up the meetings, order breakfast burritos, arrange a room at a brewery, those kind of really important details. But that's how work gets done, as you know. So thank you so much again for inviting us. Any parting words, Cecil?
No, this water, I'm just excited about the Northern Colorado Water Alliance and what it will bring for the future of Northern Colorado. Thank you for having us this evening.
Don't walk away yet.
Okay.
We might have some questions. Anybody have any questions about the Northern Colorado Water Alliance for Cecil and for Claire? Commissioner Cavallis. Hi.
Thank you, Claire and Cecil. I'm wondering, since there's such a close intersection between municipal and ag use of water, what kind of representation is on the Northern Colorado Water Alliance from the agricultural interests?
You know, that has not been explored as of yet. It's a really great question. We would love to have more of our agricultural partners. We've also talked about having our business community, agribusiness community there, a hydro business, as well as Chamber of Commerce, right, Bill? We've talked about that a little bit, as well as our ditch companies. So I believe as the providers build trust and talk about their shared systems and storage issues, delivery systems, all of those big issues, more and more people will be included at the table. I can only guess.
John, I think long term, I think that is part of the long-term vision is that but we have to have a place to start, and this was kind of the starting foundation. The water providers that for quite a long time, quite frankly, there was siloing, right? Each group did their own thing, and yet they were doing some cooperative things, but we had to have a place to start where we could at least have that original fundamental basis of what the water providers were doing, and then we can reach out from there, like Claire says, to the agriculture. We think that would be great, and to the business community, especially those businesses that do use significant amount of water, brewers, and you know the long list. So.
Thank you very much. And some of those ag folks are here tonight, and I'm sure they're willing to engage.
You know you're supposed to use a mic.
The ag folks are here tonight, and they're willing to engage.
Absolutely.
Awesome. I'm glad that we can make some of those connections tonight. Oh, do we have a question? Let's do it.
My question is, this is something that's come up during the Larimer County water master plan process, as well as the question of why there's so many different water providers and why there wasn't a regional planning effort. So I'm glad to see that there is that happening. Can you answer the first part of that question? Maybe a little bit of history of why there's so many different and siloed water providers?
Is that a question a little above pay grade here? I don't know if Cecil, you look like I don't know. I might ask Karen to jump in here if she has some background.
Well, I'll give you my perspective, and it goes back historically, way back when, right? And as each entity and each ditch company and each, it just developed that way over history, and it goes way back to 150, 160 years ago. And so that's what has happened. And each one of those are governmental entities within themselves. Each district is a governmental entity that has a board of directors. And so I think our goal was to try and at least get them all in the room and start making those connections. And that was our initial thoughts and goals. And once we do that, once they start collaborating and cooperating with each other and building additional ideas and moving forward with these kinds of things, then we can start bringing other people on board. And maybe there'll be, who knows what happens from there.
And I can tell you, yes. And we did talk about this more at one of our previous sessions. I think this exact question was asked. Other people that were at those sessions are nodding their heads. I think it was, I don't remember if it was session 2 or session 3. There you go. So someone answered that exact question in session 3. So Cecil and Claire, thank you very, very much. We'll bring you back up later